welcome back to another video, and today we are continuing with the main scenario quest for patch 5.4. So we're picking up immediately where we left off here in Alisaie with reviving the legacy. Grahatia seems eager to bear the node away. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Rambros did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext, however much I might look forward to seeing him again. Him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Alright, so we're heading immediately back to the Rising Stones. It's gonna be nice to see Sid again, but I'm also a little worried because I heard that Sid's voice actor changed, at least for the English voice actor, so yeah, I mean, I have Sid's voice in my head here, so I mean, we've had like 3 expansions, and I can't say I'm looking forward to it. I mean, maybe it'll be better than his old voice. Alright, so here we are, back outside the Rising Stones. For some reason, I just keep thinking of the Waking Sands. I don't know why. I mean, come on, we haven't been back to the Waking Sands in years. And I'm invisible now. That's pretty cool. I'm pleased to see your mission was a success, and in no small part due to the LOMINSA. I take it you have news to share. So do I. Cryo's back too. I wonder what was decided at the council.
Blip! Large low-born presence detected.
Oh, so rude. Wonderful news, Claire. Tataru contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I would very much like to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Cryo? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our domain allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Of greatest concern to us is the ISHGARD, a legion aligned with Lord Neva. It appears that they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. Brutus? Aren't they the ones who took in Yotsuyu and Asahi? This bodes well. And that's sarcasm, in case you couldn't tell. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict, and so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions among the Beast Tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, this is not a problem easily solved. The Lominsans in particular struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Y'shtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we are dealing with the Temperate, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop the treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why not make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's respite? I'll show Sid in as soon as he arrives. Oh, I can't wait to see Sid again. I understand you took a little trip to Azaz La. Rahab made himself useful, I trust? I guess you could say that. We made the respite cozier than ever. You're going to love it. Ooh, what kind of changes did you make? And it looks the same. As important as Gabu is to me, I know only too well how much more it is at stake here. A cure could change the whole world. Sid, at long last.
Blip bloop. Warning, His Highness is exhibiting elevated blood pressure.
Oh, he must be excited. Sid! Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. Ha! I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? I'm so glad to see the three of them. I know you can't see it, but I can't stop smiling. Well, well, a treatment for tempering. And for the next step, you need to find the password to this Allagon's report. Just so. With nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly. And thus we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambros. It contains an Allagon dictionary. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to a terminal and set to work right away. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Ha! Short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, my lady. Node, open the report entitled Iconic Corruption, an Overview. Password, freedom.
Password accepted. Bloop. Opening report.
This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alternation of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium. No one element being more prominent than another. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause a subject's ether to become aligned with the element of earth. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. The changes undergone by the subjects are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. This stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom come to consume their entire existence. In this matter, do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon. Their prayers serve to fully empower the entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to devise a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at a great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence that I had been stripped of rank and title, and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I record it in the hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not, and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the Allagons were able to find a cure, or rather were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, this confirms the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True, yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do naught to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may well intensify it. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining its thrall. Make them remember who they were. So there's no point reviving their souls unless we can also restore their sense of self? But of course! Memory transference! The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting this technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation, that is, limit the effects to only those memories that exist prior to tempering. Through thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith which have come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see, the theory seems sound, and our experiment treating the light corrupted would help us to identify suitable memories for reanimation. But you are confident you can adapt memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. They did, you are right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism, and I can see that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics. which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct a year's worth of tests within the space of a few days. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power. A lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait, a password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted his report to be seen by those who will strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology, or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Things are about to get very busy. Luckily, we have you to help, eh? Oh, that's so nice. All those Magitech terminals won't come cheap. Ah, shut up, Tataru. Some things you shouldn't put a price on. Suffice it to say, I shall be of whatever help I can. As with our first foray into the labyrinth of the ancients, we seek to venture into the unknown, and in order to succeed, we require not only knowledge and preparation, but daring besides. Just like old times. We're getting there, Claire, one step at a time. Ooh. Oh, darn, I guess it's dead. Right, with Graha, Tia, and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I'll trust Claire and Alisaie with the ceruleum. Here's a promissionary note for each of you. Take them to the Skysteel Manufactory in ISHGARD and the ceruleum processing plant in Thanalan. The people there will give you what we need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalan. Alisaie's bound for the ceruleum processing plant. You want to take yourself to the Skysteel Manufactory. Off you go now. We shall see it to the terminals are ready by the time you return. Okay, now we're heading off to ISHGARD! I just feel like they're using whatever excuse they can to get us to go back to ISHGARD. But really, you couldn't voice act that scene? Really? I think it would have been nice. So this is a very interesting turn of events. So I know that we've been looking for the cure, but now we're going to be using Magitech to kind of test it, like with simulants, I guess. I don't know. I kind of lost track of what they were saying for a while. Hello, everyone. Remember me? Welcome back, Mistress Faye. How may I serve you this day? Issued by Garland Ironworks, this proximity note is intended for the purchase of a quantity of ceruleum specified thereupon. So you are after ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to our engineer at the airship landing. He shall be glad to assist you. What, you couldn't give it to us before? Alright, I'm pretty sure it was just outside. Where is it? Oh, sure, it was just outside the Astrologians. The guild, I guess. It's not a guild, but I can't see anything. Come on, where is it? Okay, there it is. Come on, map, you need to behave now. I wonder if we're gonna run into any old faces here. I really hope so. Oh wait! Oh, I remember now. We have a cutscene of Sir Emmerich and the chief of the Vanu Vanu. Oh, I guess this is where we run into him. We get to see him again. Ceruleum, you come to the right man. Fair warning though, the price has shot up on account of the uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you got the coin. Oh, come on! We're a hero! Can't you just forget that just this once? Well now, approximating note from the ironworks. Don't see many of these. Not that it's a problem, it's as good as gold to me. Oh, okay. Does that mean you give it to us?
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places. As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to ISHGARD, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find. I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed. Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it. In this matter, you may count on ISHGARD's full support.
He was so dramatic! What happened to you, Emmerich?
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much? Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more, now that I look at it. Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering. But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Alligans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel not only across dimensions, but through time. Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto. Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin. All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while. Damn it. It's overloading.
She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you. There! I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
Wow! That was something! Oh, I don't even know where to start with that. First Sir Emmerich was like speaking as if he was on stage, like being so overly dramatic. And then we have Nero back, and then they blew up the Rising Stones. Oh, great! Just great. I feel that was a kind of a cheap move, but hey, whatever works, I guess. Alas, the Ironworks crew couldn't linger long. Far too much to do. Yet brief though our time together was, it was bloody good to see them. So we finally have it, the cure for tempering. All that remains is to put it to use. I shall be praying for your success in the front lines. In the end, we didn't have to pay for the terminals, which is great for us, but I can't help but feel for my counterpart in the Ironworks. I guess it would be painful for her. Forget us not, Alisaie has only one thing on her mind. At long last we have our cure! In theory, at any rate. We cannot be certain until such time as we put it to the proof. But I'm quietly confident. Well, if we're to test it on someone, then I suggest Gabu. His symptoms are relatively mild. Okay, I mean, as long as you exercise due caution. Yes, as long as we exercise due caution, it will be fine. Without further ado then, let's make for Limsa. We've kept Gabu waiting long enough. Oh, we get to go see little Gabu again! We'll be praying for your success. I doubt I could contribute much towards what comes next, so I shall cheer you on from afar. Best of luck with the treatment. Alright, we're gonna go see Gabu now! And I'm seeing a pattern here. We're just sort of running all over Eorzea this time. So, what quest are we on now? I think the 4th? There's supposed to be 10, so I'm pretty sure we're on the 4th. I mean, will it really work? I don't know. I mean, it feels like everything was happening kind of quickly. I mean, it took them years just to get to this point, and while I am glad that we're finally making progress with that, it just kind of feels like it's happening a little too quickly. That's unrealistic. Tis plain Alisaie is very fond of Gabu. To the extent that I have had a hand in it, I shall do all my power to bring him back. Well, this is the moment of truth. I'll have our host bring Gabu to us once more.
Apologies for the wait.
Gabu, have you been good?
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.
Fancy meeting you here.
Alphino Y'shtola! I thought you were attending to primal matters.
We were, and came here for a meeting on the subject. Certain pirate factions did not deign to attend, however, and it was cancelled.
We had resigned ourselves to having wasted a journey when we chanced to espy you. Could it be that there has been progress with the treatment? Using Magitech terminals to formulate the solution. I would never have contemplated such an approach.
So this new magic, adapted from memory transference, would be used to purge the subject of their fanatical faith, while Angelo would be responsible for reanimating the ether of their soul. Yet I wonder at the practicalities. If one were to reanimate the soul first, it would only serve to exacerbate the tempering. Conversely, a stagnant soul would not respond to the effects of the magic. Would both need to be performed simultaneously?
Ah, nothing escapes Master Matoya's inquiring eye. As you say, both must be carried out simultaneously. And thus, I propose to imbue Angelo with the tempering treatment in much the same manner as I did the spirit vessels.
By doing so, we also spare Graha the trouble of casting spell after spell. It's really rather efficient.
Be that as it may, certain difficulties are unavoidable. The imbuing process will still require no small amount of ether. And, as I can no longer draw upon the Crystal Tower's stores of energy, I will be compelled to rely on those of others.
Well, I for one would be glad to assist.
As would I. Since the resumption of our duties, it has been naught but stuffy meetings, and I have ample ether to spare.
Excellent. With your permission then, let us begin. Yes, this will do. And now, it's my turn. Tis done.
No small amount indeed.
Well, we seek to go where even the Alligans did not. It was never like to be easy. The rest is up to you, Alisaie. The treatment itself will take time and focus, so we will need a quiet room. I'm sure our hosts can spare one. I will go with her. It may be a while before we return, so I would ask for your patience and your faith.
We'll bring Gabu back. You see if we don't.
Twould seem our part is played. Let us find a place to recuperate while we wait for news.
Why didn't you ask us to help? I mean, we've got ether in abundance. What, you're too proud to ask us for help? Alisaie will succeed, I am certain of it. We need but have faith. Well, this seems as good a spot as any to have a rest. Oh wow, was there even a point to cutting from the cutscene?
For years, Eorzea has labored to find a solution to the primal problem, without success. Any hope that tempering could be reversed faded long ago. I myself had given it up as impossible. Given up on the tempered and the light-corrupted alike. They were problems to be tolerated, or else eliminated, I believed. And to think otherwise was pure naivety. Childishness, even. But Alisaie refused to give up. She struggled and she struggled. And her efforts were rewarded with a way to bring back Halric. And now countless others may no longer be beyond salvation. However much we bicker, I have the greatest respect for my sister. Had I half her stubbornness, nay, her unwillingness to accept the status quo, I would be a far better person. A far better scion. She told you of my graduation thesis. How very embarrassing. Nonetheless, it is comforting and not a little surprising to hear that I'm still capable of impressing my sister. On the rare occasions I'm not annoying her, that is. Alisaie, are you all right?
The treatment. Did it work?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you all. Delighted, happy, glad.
Gabu!
All this time, my mind was filled with thoughts of Great Father Titan. But I never forgot about Mother and Father. Always, they were in my heart. Constantly, ever, always. So I tried to focus on their faces. Theirs and yours. Alisaie's and everyone's. And I found that I could remember. One thing, then another, and another.
Your hopes reached Gabu. They helped him to hold on.
I'm so proud of you, Gabu.
I couldn't have done it without you, Alisaie. Can you help the others too? Cure them, heal them, help them?
Yes, we can. All of them.
Without wishing to dampen the mood, I feel compelled to add certain caveats regarding the viability of the treatment for general use. As you know, reversing the effects of tempering demands a profuse amount of ether. And while Alisaie was able to heal Gaboo alone, I fear the same will not be true for those who exhibit more advanced symptoms. Moreover, the treatment's effects are limited to the soul. It offers no succor to those whose very flesh has been altered through prolonged exposure to a primal's influence. All of which is to say that we cannot save everyone.
Maybe we can't, or maybe we can. No one gave us a hope of saving Gaboo, and yet here we are. We must find a way to treat as many as possible.
Then the next logical step would be to produce a veritable army of Porkses, would it not? Granted, it seemed a simple enough process in the first, but I suspect it will be different here in the source. Not that I am any authority, of course.
Yet there is an authority on familiars to whom we may grudgingly turn. She's stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying. And her name is Master Matoya, the real one.
I have to go now, Gaboo. But the people here will look after you, all right? And I promise to come and visit you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Alisaie. Thank you.
Oh my god, that voice was so cute! Oh, I love little Gaboo. And Y'shtola. You could just feel the love in the air from the Y'shtola. We did it! We brought Gaboo back! And if I have any say in the matter, he'll be the first of many. Alisaie will be exhausted from her efforts, but you wouldn't think so to look at her now. If she's ready to press on, then so am I. You may recall that in order to procure the ingredients for Angela, we had no choice but to surrender ourselves to the whims of the pixies. But I should have done so with far better grace had I known what we would go on to achieve. Alright, yep, so it looks like the next quest is going to be Unleashed in the Dungeon. So we'll call it there for right now, and we'll leave the first dungeon run of Matoya's Relit for next time. So until then, everyone, take care and have a great rest of your night. Bye!